Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I forgot to plug us in again, but that's all right. Just leave it. It should
Okay.
be fine.
Alrighty.
How was your workout?
Workout was good.
Yeah?
Today was back, buys, abs. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah?
Those three things. How about you?
It was okay.
Yeah?
The gym is very cold.
Is it? I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess I get sweaty and I don't realize.
I did back and buys today too.
Yeah?
Yeah. But we don't do the same workout.
We don't do the same workout.
Not
we
even
just,
close.
We just wave at each other at the gym.
Sometimes I get kisses,
Sometimes you get kisses. Indeed.
which is fun.
Yeah.
It's fasting
Good morning,
day.
Laura.
Hey, Laura, it's good to see you. It's fasting day, although you just asked me, are we actually fasting today?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it a full length today. We'll see.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't feel like it. I don't want to.
He doesn't feel like it. Hey, Valerie.
Good morning,
It's good to
Valerie.
see you. So, that's the benefit of being a grown-up, right? You can decide not to if you don't feel like
Right.
it. So we'll see how that goes. We have some videos to shoot. We had a meeting with our marketing coach yesterday, and he gave us some videos we need to shoot, and we're going to do that this afternoon. But sometimes if I'm hungry, shooting videos gets frustrating.
Sometimes when you're hungry, yeah, doing anything is frustrating.
Because you end up, you have to do them over and over and over, and it's like, oh my goodness, I can't get it right.
But also the point is too is if you're 95 to 98% or 100% fasting twice a week like we do, then doing it once in a while, saying not today, is okay.
Skipping
as well.
it is not a big deal.
I think so
yeah.
far since we've been doing fasting, which is going over a year now.
We're at a year and a half now.
Okay, a year and a half of fasting, maybe 3 times we've said not today. So,
Don't feel like it today.
right. And today might be that day.
Well, and we stopped eating early yesterday because we were
Right.
busy.
I did have some cherries and some orange.
Oh, that's right. You did
orange.
eat later than I
Yeah.
did. All right. Well, so
My
I'm going to
body-
get more fasting hours today than Russ is.
Right. My body cried out and said, eat.
Eat, then you should feed it.
Right.
So I wanted to talk today about why even the smartest people overeat. I think that it's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I think that it's a struggle that people think that they're the only ones that they deal with it. And when I work with clients one-on-one, a lot of times they'll say to me, nobody else has this problem, and it's not true. I mean, especially in America where there's so much processed food and fast food and easy food available, I think that more people than not overeat. We talked yesterday about how pretty much anyone who's overweight has a food addiction because humans, by design, don't eat more than they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
But our system has been tricked. We've been tricked by the...
Did you say good morning to Valerie?
I did say good morning to Valerie.
I don't think
but you
I
didn't say
did.
good
So
morning,
good morning, Valerie.
We've been tricked by industrial food. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today because I feel like the more knowledge you have about how your body's being tricked into eating more than you need to, the better equipped you are to be able to make choices that are better for you. I think the first thing that people need to realize is that nutritious and healthy food are not addictive.
Right.
Like you don't hear about people being addicted to broccoli or squash. Like that's not a thing. You don't overeat.
Or even yams.
Yeah, you don't overeat too much spinach. Like that doesn't happen.
Right.
So that's one thing to realize is that when we talk about food addiction and overeating and just that cycle, we're not talking about real food because that doesn't happen with real food. But go ahead.
I was saying the thing to keep in your mind is your brain, which operates your body. It's the computer that runs your body. Is basically saying, "Feed me till I get all the nutrition I need."
Right.
So what's it going to say to you if you're not getting the nutrition from the food you're eating? It's going to say, "Eat more because I still need more nutrition."
And and I'm going to say this, and you're going to say, "Yeah, I know that." You can eat calories that are energy that your body can use to function and that your body can store as fat that have no nutrition, that don't actually run your cells. And that's where you run into the problem. When you eat what you've heard them called empty calories. But the American diet is loaded with empty calories. So we were reading about fat yesterday, specifically oil. We've talked to you before about how oil doesn't have a lot of nutrition in it. It's basically empty calories. It's really heavy empty
And
calories.
it's heavily processed.
Right. And what we learned yesterday was that when oil enters into your system, it goes really quickly from your digestive system directly into your blood. Like it's super easy for your body to process it. But once it hits your blood, your body cannot use that energy as fast as it's getting into your bloodstream. And so what it's really easy for it to do is just turn it into fat and store it. And just because it needs it out of the blood. And you may have seen there's been some different documentaries that have shown when they take a blood sample from somebody before they eat a fatty meal and then a couple of hours after they eat a fatty meal, how their blood looks cloudy after because it has so much fat in the blood. And your body will it wants that out of the blood because it makes the blood not do what it's supposed to do. So it stores it really easily as fat.
Which is why we talk to, there is no such thing as a healthy oil.
Right.
All oil does exactly the same thing in your body.
It's also very calorie dense, but not very voluminous. And so you can put a lot of it in your stomach and not feel full. And that causes, overeating. If you're eating foods that have a lot of oil in them, and obviously if you're eating processed food, if you're eating fried foods, if you're cooking your vegetables with olive oil, that's really a lot of calories but no volume. So your body doesn't realize, hey, we've taken in a whole bunch of calories.
And look at the packages in the supermarket. Everything that is packaged, so it's processed, has oil in it. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find something that doesn't have some kind of oil listed. And they try to They try to trick you into things like, well, it's, the sesame seed oil or safflower oil or olive oil, and trying to make you think that.
It's healthy. It's okay.
Yeah. And coconut oil, please. It's like one of the worst, if it's not the worst that you could possibly be using.
Right, because it's saturated fat. Right. So it's easy to overeat because so much of the food that we now eat has oil in it. And if you're eating out at a restaurant, I can guarantee you it is loaded with oil. That's something we talk about, that when we eat out, we know that we're going to be ingesting a lot of oil. Mm-hmm. I saw a post yesterday where somebody was complaining that some restaurants are now putting the calorie count on their food. Like when you go and get to order food, it has the calorie counts on it. And she was saying that it's such a wet blanket because there's thousands of calories and stuff. And you're like, how can it have that many calories in it? Because it's loaded with oil.
The oil.
That's why.
Yeah.
And so that makes it really easy to overeat. The other thing that we've talked about, and I want to mention again, is flavor. And flavor is an industry. They actually go out and they create flavors that are meant to trick your brain. That's what they're designed to do. They're designed to make your brain think this has nutrients in it, so I should eat a lot of it. But in reality, it's not at all what your brain thinks it is. The example I like to use, because it's a popular food source right now, is jalapeno potato chips. Jalapeno potato chips have a lot of chemicals in them that taste like jalapenos.
What don't they have?
They don't have jalapenos. There's the nutrients that you would usually get from eating a jalapeno pepper. Not in there. Yeah. Obviously, your jalapeno potato chips do not have vitamin C in them that peppers have. They don't have the micronutrients that peppers have. So the food companies, what they've done is spent millions of dollars tricking your brain. It's what they're designed to do, and because they want you to eat as much of it as possible. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If something is designed to make a company money, if that's what it's designed to do, you can guarantee that it's not designed to make you healthy.
I mean, it's really gotten to the point where most people don't even understand what food tastes like anymore. I mean, you don't understand what a jalapeno pepper tastes like because you don't actually eat jalapeno peppers. This is a standard American diet food,
right?
Not if you're actually whole food, plant-based, or vegetarian, where you're actually eating these types
real
of foods.
Food, yeah.
But for most people that don't eat real food, they don't even know if they think food tastes like something. Then when they taste the real food, they're like, this tastes bland, or this doesn't this, or this doesn't that, because they've been tricked to think that it tastes some other way. Right,
and we've talked about the pleasure trap, which is where your brain becomes so used to getting the fake flavors that are designed by the industry, that when you eat real food, your brain's like, oh, that's not yummy, that doesn't have nutrition in it, I don't want to eat that. And so you have to go through that slump. And we talked yesterday about how food addiction gives you the withdrawal symptoms, so you have to deal with those, and you have to deal with the slump of your taste buds. But I did read that your taste buds will change in about 7 to 14 days. So it doesn't take that long for your body to readjust, but you do have to give it that chance to do that. And that's the biggest challenge, I think, for people, is having the wherewithal, the desire to make those changes. And for me, at least, and I hope that's true for you, is that the more knowledge you have, the more information you have about it, to say, this is what's happening, this is what the end game is, this is how long it's going to take, will help you kind of get through that.
Hey, knowledge rules, right? I mean, the more knowledge you have, it's why we don't stick our fingers in light sockets anymore, because you got the knowledge that that's not a good thing.
Right, it's not a good idea.
And so you're not curious anymore. We don't do that.
Right, and then you end up with emotional eating and addictive eating, and eating by habit, which is called Pavlovian eating. You have all of those psychological issues that have to be addressed. And I can talk about them generally here, and you can say, oh yeah, I have that issue. But unless you actually sit down with someone to help you kind of figure out what are they and what are your goals, how are you going to change that, it's going to keep happening. That's the one thing about kind of emotional eating and psychological eating that's frustrating, is you can know that you're doing it, but if you don't know how to fix it or how to break that habit, you're kind of stuck with it, and that's super frustrating. But fortunately, you can learn how to do that pretty easily once you understand how. Let me see what else I have in here in my notes that I took yesterday. So according to Dr. Furman, which is the book we're listening to now, The End of Dieting, he says that less than 5% of your calories should be from animal products. That I feel like is hard to measure, but because he says that animal products, because of the fat in them and the carcinogen in them, that they're more addictive and not as filling and not as good, take longer to process than plants. So that's what he says. He made the comment, you can be dead like a caveman.
Right.
If you eat like a caveman, you'll be dead like a caveman. I thought that was kind of
we
funny.
talked about this before, but it always makes me laugh when people talk about these great diets that are on, that the people that they got it from lived to be 40.
Right.
Lived to be 45 or 50. And it's like, this is a great diet. I'm like, well, if that's your goal,
Exactly.
If your goal is not to live a long, healthy life, then there's a lot of diets out there.
Yeah.
And you haven't talked about the danger of doing these fad diets and losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. I mean, that takes a toll on your body. That's not.
Yeah, I want to talk to them next week because I think it's a whole. Good morning, Allison. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Allison.
I think it's a whole kind of conversation about why when you yo-yo diet, when you regain weight that you've lost, it's harder to lose it the second time. Mm-hmm. So it's fine to lose weight, but you have to keep it off, because when you regain it, then it makes it harder to lose. Right. And I think that's the challenge that people run into, is they can lose weight, but then when they gain it back, it's harder to lose, and it just becomes really challenging.
You need to get onto a system or a diet. We don't really like to use the word diet, but for this purpose, I'll use diet, that you can maintain, so that when you take the weight off, the weight stays off.
Right.
And most fad diets are not meant to do that.
And that means not eating food that causes you to overeat. And that requires knowledge. Fortunately, I know the people that watch us are all, smart people who are interested in information and want to learn. And so the more you know, the better it is, basically.
Exactly.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add about why even smart people overeat?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
For today.
All right.
But we'll be back.
I forgot to tell you at the beginning to make sure you like and share. And if you're watching the replay, let us know that. Give us comments. Let us know your thoughts. If we help you change something, we want to know that. We want to celebrate your successes with you. So do let us know that. If you haven't gone over to rnrjourney.com and become a member, do that. We post a lot of things on our community page and engage in conversations on our community page with people. And you can join our newsletter at rnrjourney.com. And of course, our webinar is at howtofeedahuman.com.
Right, and also if you'd like to get a kickstart with Dr. Robin, you can do that on our website as well, or you can PM her.
Yeah, send me a private message.
Right.
With the new year coming, there are a lot of people who are starting to reach out and say, hey, I would love to have a conversation with you just so I can get my new year off to a good start. So absolutely reach out to me, and we can make that happen. We'll get something scheduled.
Exactly.
Is there anything else?
I think we said it all.
All right, we're going to go about our fasting day, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. So with that, we'll say, eat real food,
Mostly plants.
Have a great day,
Have
guys.
a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.